Psalm 103 verse 7. It's where we were yesterday and where we will begin again today. That we may pray, that we may know not only God's deeds, what he's done in history and discern, but know his ways, that prophetic edge may be ours. In Acts chapter 12, we are now back in Jerusalem, and for the third time in 12 years, Peter is going to go to prison. James, a colleague of his, one of the original 12, has been put to death by Herod. Herod trying to please the Jews, again a very insecure character in the family tree, allowed to rule by the Romans. And here at this day or days of the unleavened bread, Peter is seized. In other words, now the persecution is turned to the destruction of leadership. Do please pray for leaders, not because they're special in one sense, but they too, from time to time, are particularly targeted. So Peter goes to prison, and the community in Jerusalem are praying for him. We also notice in verse 6, probably before he expected to die because Herod was no doubt going to execute him. It just says this, verse 6, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers. What peace! His life was in God's hands. And I say this very gently because it's difficult. Circumstance don't dictate his relationship to his Lord. And as you read this wonderful story, the lovely account, the powerful account of God opening the prison, please think of the story of the Exodus, because here we're seeing another deliverance, another Exodus. And Peter is delivered out of and taken into through angelic help and deliverance. Of course, we've already mentioned that James the apostle is dead, executed with a sword. Now, as he is reunited, not easily by the way, with the community, we see this in verse 17. Tell this to James and to the brethren. James, inverted commas, the brother of the Lord, the one who particularly was close to Jesus in his incarnated life, but never believed into him. This is a different James. So leadership now in Jerusalem is passing to James, one who has come to believe. Do have a look sometime at 1 Corinthians 15. Herod now is mad. Notice with Herod, he stands in the line, as it were, of Pharaoh. This is not just human hatred. It is demonic vengeance. And he searches and searches for Peter and can't find him, because God hides him and will get him out of Jerusalem. And we're left wondering with this question. One perishes by the sword, another escapes. This is the history that the book of Hebrews will talk to us about of the Christian church. So Peter now goes and he hides away, or is hidden away, back up in the seaside. Look at your maps again. And Herod now is dealing with those from Tyre and Sidon. He's in dispute, and one day he comes out and he looks royal and he's got on his robes on, and the people shout out, the voice of God and of men. Not of man, it's the voice of God. Herod takes that applause to himself, and the angel of the Lord strikes him down. Yet again, the evil one has overplayed his hands. Verse 24, melodic line. the word of God grew and multiplied, even in, or rather through, the circumstances.